And so I'm going to go ahead and change my camera so that you'll be able to see what my demo is. And then I'm going to show you, and we'll quickly go ahead and do it. So this is the change my lighting so that you can see a little better. And so this is a one-page layout and got plenty of room for pictures or whatever. And so, but all you need is a 6-inch piece of paper. If you wanted to use a 12-inch piece of paper, you can make the same thing across and make it as a 2-page spread. But you want one page, a page piece of designer paper that looks that you like on both sides. And so now the one thing we're going to do is I want to show you, we have, and I'm going to highlight the border cutting tools today. And so we have two different sets, and one come out earlier than the other one. This was the first set we had, and this one has a zigzag and a peak, and this has a curve and a ripple. And then we had a second set that come out. And so this has got waves and a swell, and that was used in the uh, virtual crop last weekend. And then we've got crest and arch, and I've used the arch before. Well, this is the one I'm going to go ahead and use again today, which will mirror the page that I just shared with you. You will want one piece of I'm using cardstock for my background. I had this 6-inch piece left, so I'm only going to make a one-page spread. And so, but if you have a 2-page spread, you would want to, have it just at 6 inches. And then I've taped it down and I've just got it on, I just put it on my board at any level instead of all the way top or bottom. So I've just got it here at the 3 to 9 inch, and it's the same thing on this other side. I have also I'm just in love with the place and peel tape. And this is 2 rolls in here that are $7. And it's got a narrow and it's got a wide. And of course, even at the wide, you can tear it off and tear a little piece in two or whatever. And I've put it on here to hold this in place because you have to really hold these in place. And these have got a little groove. It's got little letters here, like it's got a R, G, and a B, which means your red, green, and blue blade in your trimmer blades. Because where that's at is where that's how far out that would be to line up, because it's on this side right here too. And so the red is the closest, the green is a little bit farther, and the blue is the farthest out. Now, what I have found is this is a no measurement thing. And I probably should have done this on the other side, cut it from the other side, because this is kind of busy. Let's just go ahead and do that. I didn't think about that. Um, and that's the one thing about this place and peel tape. It doesn't stick to your paper and take off the the thing or the print. And so I really do like that. And I think we can see when we cut here on this side a little better. Now, for me, I'm just going to line the very top of this at the top of the page. And I'm using my red blade on this. And so that'll give me my top border. And so you put the 2 little prongs in the groove, and that's where you're going to make sure you can cut from there. And you just press, and you have to hold this in place. And this is kind of got notches on each side. And so I don't know whether mine's bowed or what's bowed a little bit, but it's, I'm having to really hold it down. And I shouldn't have to hold it that hard, but whenever you're doing different up and down, it's just one of those things. Now I want to be sure that this comes off. And I've got a little piece, and that's probably where I moved it. And I'm just going to not worry about that because I will fix that. Okay, now all I have to do, I don't have to even move this if I don't want to, but I am going to move this down just a little bit just because I want that middle piece. And then all I'm going to do is I want to punch it or do this across the bottom. So you've kind of got a two-part, well, I can't see there because I usually stand up and do this. Is one of the that's my second part. Now I'll take this little tape off, and that's all I've got is two cuts. And what I done on the other one is I stacked the two when I done them. Now I really had to press hard on that, and that was a little bit more. And so, but anyway, this one will be here, and this will be at the top. And I've got a little bit of a groove here, so you know what I'm going to do. Just use my little micro tip scissors, and done's better than perfect. So I just kind of go ahead and go in here and groove that out just a little bit. And what I'm going to do over here is going to trim this. Well, that one actually, I don't need to do much trimming there, but is it going to be exact whenever I flip this to look in the groove? Yeah, it won't be, but you know what? It won't matter. And so this will be my page and then my pink underneath. However, I want to put a border across the bottom like I did the other one. And so even though this is going to be my base page, I've got room to punch this across the bottom. And that's another thing I'm going to show you is how you do that and save you some paper and then you line it up. And so I always like to have something that all my stuff can fall on. So whether it's a little silicone mat or this is uh, parchment paper, but it's something for these to line up with. And this, we've got a little black line here. I can't get it in the camera, right? But anyway, that little black line is where I want to line my paper up. And so I do that all the way in. You're going to have this all the way to the back edge and you're going to punch. And then when I bring it forward, you want to line up the holes so that all of the blue is covered. And then that way it matches with the next one. And I'm kind of over top of this looking at it. So hopefully you all can see what I'm doing. And I just always make sure that this is butted up against the edge here whenever I'm doing that, because that will make it match up. And so this is just really a pretty punch. So now this is the rough edge. So that's going to be my bottom of my base page. And this, I'm just trimming off the little ends there. And then see, I've got all these little things right here, and that can just go in the trash, and that's done, and it's not all over my board or in my space. So, we're done with that. So I'll lay these over here to the side. And this is going to go at the top because this was the bottom where I trimmed off. But like sometimes you'll have the little notches. Well, that's okay. Just, And so one of the things I want to do, as soon as I get that at the top, I use my tape again because I'm just going to go down here about midway and use it. So it's out of the way of what these two pieces I'm going to put on. So we've got to use our tape. And of course, I don't know if y'all use this big one, but boy, I like it whenever I'm doing something and I want to do it fast. And so then I'm just turning the green over and I'm lining it up. And you could do it to where you wanted to pull it down a little bit, but I don't have any pink at the bottom. So I kind of want the green to be at the top and bottom. Next, we'll have this. And see, can you really tell where I trimmed that off? No. Okay, so I got it off a little bit. It's not a big deal. So what was it that Sue said? Done's better than perfect, and that's where we have to go with this. So you can use whatever degree you want to up here, but I just kind of look at the edges and just kind of like that. Now down here, because I don't want to do it at the page, that would be I need to do all the way down here. But where do you put your tape? You only have to put your tape on the top. If you want to put a little bit down, just a little bit, about an inch on each side, because we know this is going to go up about 3.5 inches. So you take this to the bottom of your mat. It's your 12-inch. And there we go. There's your 12 by 12 page. Now, we want to put this across at the bottom, just a little oomph and stuff. So that little bit of a green comes through, the light pink. And so what did I use? I used the bottom of this piece of paper. And so, and just pick you a point. Okay, this is at an inch. And so I want to be sure that this is at 1 inch on this side. So there we go. Now this piece of paper looks like it's a little bit longer, the cardstock, sometimes you have that. So I will trim that off later. And it looks like I need a little bit of tape right there on that end. And there is my page. Now I put a little circle at the top of this one, and I had a little emblem there. If you want to do that, you can do that. You can make you a little circle. Sometimes I have other circles or something. I don't know about the embellishments that we have with this collection. Just like, I think there was well, I don't have it in this one here, but you have a little bit of a tree here. We might want to put that right here in the middle there, and maybe do my soul is happy up here in this corner. Maybe not cover up our flamingos. Maybe it needs to go right there. And there you go. And how many pictures can you get in here? You can put whatever you want to in it. I didn't pull out any of a 4x4 would go here. Probably a 3.5 by 5.5 could go here, and a 3x4 or something down in here. Even a 2 3x5s. 3x5s, yes, or 3.5 by 5.5 would go offset here, and maybe another smaller one here. And even if it goes up into that underneath the little tree, it won't matter. So let me go ahead and we'll just pull a few placemats just because sometimes you definitely want to have a visual of what you're working with. And and because I use a lot of times just photo straight on the cardstock, uh, you know. I don't see anything wrong with that. I'd like to kind of offset these so that it kind of gives